Do you ever find yourself saying, I already worked through this. I can't believe this block is coming up again. I thought that I worked through this. I thought I healed this. I went to therapy for this. I released this. Why is this coming back up? So if that's you, this episode is for you. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on here. But first, my name is Rebekah Kiger, and I am a financial advisor turned quantum wealth advisor. And I help women go from survival to soul. And that is literally the entire mission that I have on this planet, because I know what it's like to live in deep survival. I came from below the poverty line. I was a single mom for almost 10 years, raising my daughter by herself, living in complete survival mode around money, survival mode around relationships, like completely just dysregulated all the time. And I went from that to living a life now that is guided by my soul. I am regulated. I am resourced. I am wealthy. I have time freedom. I have abundance. And I'm now living in a place where I want other people to experience this. Hello, my love. Welcome to the Soul Powered channel. This is your one-stop shop for all things soul alignment. We're talking getting out of survival mode, moving into soul power, and releasing what society has told you is the definition of success for what your soul actually desires in this lifetime. I believe that you came to this earth with an alignment assignment, which is something to play out during this lifetime, something that you chose long before you came here to do, some kind of impact that you're here to make on the planet, some way that you are here to contribute, to help raise the collective consciousness of Earth. And that's my desire, is to help you to be able to play out that alignment assignment by gaining the confidence, by releasing the things that are no longer serving you, by remembering who the fuck you actually are at your soul level, and rising into overflow together. Thank you so much for being here today. I seriously cannot wait to dive in. Let's do this. So I want to share with you exactly what's happening, because I used to tell myself that same story of, I worked through this already. I already did this work. Why is this coming up again? And the reason that this is coming up again is because healing is not linear. I think we all hear that and we're like, yeah, I get that. Like, it's not linear, right? But we see these kind of like stock market charts of how healing works. And that's actually how it came to me in a vision as well. Is that when you're healing, when you're trying to get to the next level in your life, it does work like that, where you start to go up and then you kind of come back down a little bit. And then I actually believe I'll come back to this down part, because I think that's a really important part, but then you'll kind of climb back up and okay, you have a peak experience, you're working really hard on yourself, and then you come back down a little bit and then you go up and then you go, and like, you see how the trend is like a stock market chart, the trend is still going up. But what happens when you're in those like down moments is really key to whether or not you're going to keep going up, or if your stock market chart's going to be like this, and then you're kind of going down, and then coming up and then going down, like taking one step forward and, 5 steps back. So I don't want that for you, because that is going to create a lot of chaos in your life. If you're someone who every single time you make some sort of momentum and you start moving towards the things that you want, then you're self-sabotaging, pulling yourself back and, creating chaos for 6 months. And I used to do that too. So there's no shame here. And like, I'm not talking from a place of I'm better than anyone or that I've never experienced these kinds of things. Really, what this boils down to is everyone's going to experience that downward spiral at times. It's human nature. We can't be in a high vibe state all the time. And in order to manifest all the things that you desire, you don't actually have to be in a high vibe state all of the time. You don't have to be. You can be human. I think that we've been given this portrayal of what it means to be godlike, what it means to be spiritual, as like this perfect person. And you do no wrong, and you don't judge, and you don't fail, you don't do anything wrong. And that's what makes you perfect. And I think it's really silly, because I believe that true enlightenment is being fully here as a human being with all of your flaws and all the shit and all of the chaos and all the things that come along with being human on this fucking amazing planet that we're on, this chaotic, beautiful, amazing, horrendous planet that we live on, while And true enlightenment means that you're living here and then you also are living 100% in the 5D as well. Like you're letting your soul guide the way. And unless you've experienced that, you may not have an experience of that. So you may not know exactly what I mean. But the point is actually not to be riding the high all the time. And I had to learn this the hard way because I couldn't understand why I would go to these events and have these massive awakenings and these quantum leaps in my mindset. And I would be around all these motivational people and I would be so fucking excited. And then I would come back and like stuff would just start to fall apart and things would happen. And I would like be like, God, I was making all this progress and then I come back and everything's going to shit. Like, what the hell's happening? And I used to let myself spiral. And then it wasn't creating any kind of true momentum for me. So once I realized this, everything shifted and I could really take the momentum from all the work that I was doing and all these events and these trips and things that I would go to because I could take that with me. And I could really embody the lessons. I could embody the lessons because it's not enough to go to a personal growth event. And if you've been around for a while, and you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you would hear all these different experiences that I've had because I oftentimes would share when I got back. But if you haven't, I've been heavily investing in my own personal growth and development for almost a decade now. So I've lost count of how many events I've gone to. And some of them were motivational events. Some of them were events, masterminds where I was meeting with other people and brainstorming. And other ones were, just business workshops and less intimate things. But regardless, every single time I would come home, I'd be super inspired. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to quantum leap. And then I would come home and things would start to happen. So I'll give you a real life example of this. I just went to Sedona with two of my business besties and I love these girls so much. And we've been doing this probably about 4 or 5 times now with the three of us. And we met through a mastermind. We stayed in touch. We're like this. We're super, super close, locked in energetically. We've watched each other grow like massively. We all started off in a very dysregulated state in our business. And then now we're just like, our conversations are very different because we're elevating so much and we're doing it together. It's really beautiful. I think there's something super, super, super magical about sisterhood and staying in contact with others who are going in the same direction as you, like long term. And so that's also why I've created the community that I have, the Soul Powered Society. But my point with this is we went away and we had this experience that was an incredibly high vibe. So we chose Sedona to go back to because that's one of the first places that we went on a trip together because we were doing some mastermind events out in Arizona. And we went to Sedona and we kind of know the deal now with the three of us. We get into our rhythm and then it's like a week-long therapy session for the three of us. We're all really good coaches. And so we support each other. We hold space for each other. We are like the safest sisterhood that you could even imagine. And so we go really deep and we like purge a bunch of shit and we just cry and we get it all out and we help each other through and we release all these emotions. And we literally the last time wrote a letter and to our old self that we were like leaving behind in Sedona and burned it in the fire at the end. Like the things that we do are really just incredible and super supportive. But it was such a high vibe event. And I got so inspired about all the things I want to do whenever I get home. And then I got home and my body had a really hard time like adjusting back to the time zone here on the East Coast because we were up until like midnight, 1 a.m. Arizona time, which is like 3 or 4 a.m. my body time, okay, here in Pittsburgh. And the problem with that is I get up at 5 a.m. So like that's become a thing for me. And so to stay up until 4 a.m. my time probably wasn't the smartest idea, but like you're in the moment and we get into these really deep talks at night. And so I wanted to do it. It wasn't that I didn't want to, but my body had a really hard time coming back and healing from that. So I felt this like dip occur. And then I kind of felt some of those older thoughts and emotions coming back in that I had literally thought that I worked through at that point in time. And I'm like, why are these things coming back up? Then I'm experiencing fear again, and I'm experiencing scarcity again. And I just hired a new team and I'm like, oh my God, should I have done that? Like all these things just kind of coming up, even though I knew that I was on the right path. I knew I was safe. I knew that I could afford it. I knew that everything was going to be okay. But like those things came back up. And so what I did is, instead of trying to bypass them and think, I already worked through this, why is this happening? I could have let myself spiral a lot longer. I sat with those parts of me and I was like, okay, what are we afraid of? Like, what are you really afraid is going to happen? Why are you so scared? And so I'll give you an example. Like, why am I so scared? Why was I so scared of hiring this team? And I would just ask myself, why are you scared? Okay, I'm scared because what if it doesn't work? Okay, then what? Well, if it doesn't work, then I have to go back to what I was doing before. Okay, then what? Then I'll just have paid this team for nothing. Okay, then what? Then I'll be out $6,000. Okay, then what? Figure it out. And I just kept like asking this part of me, like, then what? Then what? Then what? Then what? And the reality is that there was just a part of me that I hadn't met yet that had a little bit of fear. That's it. Like, just because I worked through something before doesn't, I'm never going to have to access that part of me again. That part of me is never going to speak to me again, never going to have any fears, never going to have any concerns, or never going to have anything to say. These are parts of you that are afraid or fearful or guilty or feeling shame or feeling whatever it is. And so it's just like a relationship that you have with someone else. If my husband has a concern, I expect that he's going to bring that concern to me. And I'm not going to be like, oh, here we go, you again. Like, I've already talked to you once. I've already made you feel okay about this once. You know, sometimes people need multiple conversations, especially when trust has been broken, especially when you haven't been living a life that is feeling like it's led by your soul. And so maybe these parts of you are like, you've overworked us in the past. You've pushed us to the brink of fucking giving up. How many times? You've literally not listened to anything that we've had to say. Every time we try to tell you to rest, try to tell you to, slow the fuck down, tell you to whatever it is, like, you're not listening. And so, yeah, whenever you go on this peak experience, or you have, a lot of momentum happening in your life, you're choosing a lot of really good things. Yeah, I'm going to get a little bit scared because I don't know if that's going to continue. And remember, in the past, it didn't continue. And so I'm going to come and tell you. And these parts of you are literally just trying to communicate to you that, like, they're afraid. And so sitting with these parts of you, and if you don't know how to do that, that's the work that I do in the world. That's what I can help you with. So join me in the Soul Powered Society. Like, go and check out one of the free resources below and get in, and primarily come in at the amplify level so that I can get my eyes on you. I can help you. I can really dig into your scenario and your situation and support you in this. Because once you know how to make these parts feel safe, then they stop trying to block you from going to the next level. You stop feeling all of that fear. They get on board. They're like, okay, like, she's different now. I don't have to be afraid that she's going to do all these different things because she's changed. So having to deal with something that you've already healed is not a bad thing. It makes you human. It makes you human, and it's final. It's okay. It's this part of you is finally just trying to say, like, hey, I feel safe enough right now to express to you that I don't feel safe, if that makes sense. It's like that part of you knows that you're resourced enough to fix whatever is happening here. Or it's like, hey, here's the resource. It's going to introduce you to the resource, whether it's a book, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a course, whether it's a program, whether it's working with someone one-to-one. That part of you is like, I know that there's healing available, and I'd like that healing, please. Because I don't want to feel this fear. I don't want to feel this scarcity. I don't want to feel this shame or guilt or anger or sadness. These parts of you, they want wholeness. They want to come back into cohesion, into coherence, into wholeness. And that happens by being able to recognize them, not trying to shun them away and say, I already dealt with you. I already worked through this. The point of life is never like to get to the end. I mean, when we get to the end, we die. So like, what's the rush? What is the whole, like, I've already done this. Like, where are you actually trying to get? There's nowhere to get. There's nowhere to get. And people used to say that and I didn't understand what they meant, but there's nowhere to get. The only thing that you're ever going to do is discover more aspects of yourself, to discover more of who you are as a human. That's a fucking good thing. Having to deal with another part of you that's coming up should be celebrated. And I need to remind myself of that as well, because I don't always celebrate it. But a lot of times I try, because I'm like, oh, thank you for coming up. Thank you for telling me that you were afraid. Thank you for showing me this pattern. Thank you, because I don't want to repeat those things. So if you learn the lesson, you don't have to repeat the thing. That's how life works. But you're presented with the lesson first, and then you have to choose whether you're going to make it mean something about you. So the fact that you have to deal with this part of you again, or the fact that, you thought you already worked through this, what are you making that mean about you? A lot of times I hear, well, it means it's never going to work. I'm a failure. I'm not good enough. It's never going to happen for me. Well, if you want to believe those stories, you can, but what if it just means, like we said earlier, this part of you just wants to be seen. It wants to be heard. It wants to be validated. And by you invalidating it, paradoxically, you're just creating the exact same cycle that you are trying to avoid. So next time you hear yourself saying, I thought I already worked through this, remember this video. Give yourself compassion, give yourself grace. You've got this. You can work through these parts of you. You can do this, and you get to just meet more aspects of yourself. And as always, if you need support with this, you know where to go. Go to the link in the show notes for the free resources and check out the Soul Powered Society, because I would love to support you individually on overcoming your blocks, integrating these parts of you, and finally living a life that is fully powered by your soul. I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today on this episode of the Soul Powered Channel. I trust that you got what you came here for. And truly, if this episode resonates with you, would you do me a favor and send this to someone else that you know it would resonate with as well? That really increases the probability that we're going to be able to collapse time and move into the soul-powered society even faster. We're headed to the new earth. It's inevitable. It's happening. But the more of us that can access our soul power, walk in that soul-powered truth, and create this together to be that beautiful bridge from the 3D where we're living now to the 5D new earth, the better. So share this with someone. Come back anytime you need inspiration. I'm so happy to have you here. I love you so much, and I'm so, so, so grateful for every single moment that you decide to tune in. And I can't wait to see what transforms in your life as a result of this work. We'll see you next time.